Hi everybody, welcome to Wet on Wet. I am logging into it on my other device, and if you can hear me, tell me. I have two questions. Where are you from? And what experience do you have with Wet on Wet? So tell me about that. And I am joining this on my device, my other device as well. And I'm super excited to have you guys here. I decided to have this live just a couple days ago, but it's something I've been thinking about for a long time, so I have lots of thoughts. So, like I said a moment ago, tell me, where are you from, and what experience do you have with Wet on Wet? Have you ever done it before? Do you make dots? Do you make hearts? Have you never done it? Do you make super complicated pictures? So let me know everything about it, and I apologize for keeping people waiting, but I am trying to make sure I can see the comments on my other device. Oh, good, I can see it. Okay, so welcome. I'm going to talk on here a little bit, and then I'm going to turn it around and let you see my cookies, and we're going to make some cookies together. And if you are wanting to participate with me, we're going to be doing 3 or 4 cookies, maybe more if we have time, although I doubt that. And so if you want to do this with me, have a few blank cookies on hand. Good, I'm seeing some comments that people are able to hear me. That's great. Yeah, people are excited about the mountain design. If you have several colors, that's great. If they look good together, that's even better. The main thing is that they are several different flood colors. That means anywhere from 6 to 15-second flood. And you probably want one piping color as well. If you want to join us, we're going to do the mountain design. Also going to try to do some flowers and yeah, I have a couple other things that I want to try with you guys. I may take 30 minutes, I may take an hour. I'm not sure how long these things are going to take. Okay, so let me tell you about myself. My name is Amy Glendinning. Oh, never mind. You might be hearing an echo. No, if you are not hearing an echo, give me a thumbs up in the comments so I know that there's no echo because I have both devices going at once. Okay, so my name is Amy Glendinning. I work full-time as a virtual teacher. I'm hoping that that will help me with this to use it more effectively, but maybe it won't. What it means is that I sit here and teach 3rd grade every day on the computer, talking to kids like this, and I actually love it. I can see them really well. I can't see you guys at all, so that part's a little weird for me, but I can see your comments, and I'm also used to reading those comments. So I have 2 guarantees for you, which I know are true because of teaching virtually every day. Something is going to go wrong with technology, and I'm going to forget some things I want to say, and I'm totally fine with those things. And you can be fine with those things too. It's just the way it works when you're teaching virtually. So I have been praying for this. I've been praying for you guys. And if you're a praying person, pray with me, just that this would be an encouragement to people who are listening. And just help you guys out today. I'm having fun reading through the comments. I'm seeing people from all over. Is it just the country of the world? Yeah, we got some people from other not United States as well. Great question, asked where I'm from. I am in Conway, South Carolina. If you're in South Carolina, oh no, is it going to be reversed the whole time? I'm making my mistake of addressing stuff in the comments without telling what it is. I'm in South Carolina. If you're in South Carolina, shout out. I apologize that my sign is reversed. Apparently we're going to be looking at everything in mirror image today. So, oh yeah, I've got some neighbors in the comments. That's good. Also, I have lived in North Carolina, so shout out if you have lived there. And I lived in Iowa and the Philippines. So anybody from any of those spots. All right, since my sign is backwards, I might as well put it down. You're telling me where you're from and what experience you have with Wet on Wet. Wet on Wet is when you use royal icing in liquid form to combine it to make designs and art. And it is not a precise activity. Jennifer says there could be a pinned post with those questions. There could be. I don't think I have the brain space to create that right now. So if people, it doesn't really matter. It's okay if they don't comment that. So you can use this to completely decorate a cookie in one sitting and just be done with it. You don't have to wait for things to dry in between. In fact, you can't let it dry or it won't work. The results are very organic. They are often very floral. Like it's easy to do nature themes with wet on wet. It's pretty forgiving if you make mistakes. It's pretty easy while it's still wet to reach in and adjust things a little bit if you mess it up. And then again, of course, sometimes things totally fall on their faces. So you have to go into this ready to have your heart broken by some design that you hoped would work wonderfully and doesn't. Another plus of doing wet on wet is that people love videos of this on social media. So if you do a wet on wet cookie, pop your phone up there, record it, speed it up ×4, and people will love it. They eat it up. They find it super satisfying. You can tag satisfying videos on it. There's also Flood Friday on Instagram, so there's fun ways to use that. All right, so those are some pros of it that I've already said. Really pretty, organic, get it done in one sitting, pretty forgiving. People love videos. Some cons are some people have told me they use this to speed things up. I have not found that to be the case. It tends to be this sneaky kind of thing where you're like, oh good, I'll just do this all at once and be done. But because you're using multiple colors and you keep switching back and forth in your icings, it can take a long time actually. It's kind of like, you're like, I'll just paint my cookies with watercolor, and then it takes forever. So it can take a long time. The more colors you have, the longer it takes. If you can find a way to do it 2 colors, it's pretty fast. Another problem is the overflow can be really frustrating, and that's one reason you can have your heart broken. I made some really pretty cookies about a week ago, and they were turning out perfect. I walked away for 5 minutes and came back, and 3 out of the 8 had just dribbled over the sides, and anyway, heartbroken. Another con, or maybe a pro, is that you never know how it will turn out. It can turn out super pretty, it can mess up. You might be like, that's not what I expected at all, but it looks great. You never know how it'll turn out. In the comments, when I posted a couple days ago about this, someone said, I want to learn how to be more precise with this. And unfortunately, this is not a precise art. It is flowy and changey. And when I've tried to use it as backgrounds for like logos where you want to have a precise shape, unless it's like a circle, or even then, it really is hard to be precise because it's a liquid and it flows. So that's something that's a pro and a con, really. It's nice that it's not precise. I should check comments in a second, but I want to finish my list of cons. Another thing I've had a problem with is sometimes there have been like brides who are like, can I see sample cookies? And they pay for some sample cookies, and there's just not enough texture for them. It's too flat. And so they really want more on there. And that's another thing about the time is it often just ends up being a background. A lot of people want more texture on their cookies, whether it's writing or adding some 3D flowers or whatever. So it really is not a time saver. I apologize, at least for me. Someone also inquired about color bleed. They're worried about color bleed. And what I found is that color bleed is a part of the process. And it's good to try to say, this is going to have color bleed, and I expect that. And then another con is that sometimes you think 2 colors will have really good contrast in the cookie, and then because they're just snuggled up right next to each other in the flood, they don't look that different for some reason. And this especially happens with green and blue for me, which I think that there is a nature of those colors. They're actually very similar. But so this is not a precise art. It's organic, and you need to go into it welcoming the unexpected. I'm going to pause now and check out these comments because I haven't really read them in the last 5 minutes. Texas, Alaska, Kentucky, mountain design, Ohio, North Carolina, lived there for 20 years, Pennsylvania, Dallas, Georgia, Ohio, Indiana, Dallas, Georgia. Hey, there's 2 of you out there. Or is it the same person twice? Nope. If y'all know each other, wave at each other. Washington, D.C., France. That's our international person so far. California, Spain. I lived in Spain for 5 weeks. That's not living, but I love Spain. It was really special. So cool you're over there. South Louisiana. I skipped somebody. Oh, Clarksburg, West Virginia. Missouri. I see that, I see April, you called out the person that's also from Dallas. I'm glad you guys talked to each other. and Green Bay, Ohio. And what I'm seeing is quite a few of you are saying that you have some experience, but not that much. Oklahoma, Trinidad, Minnesota, Melbourne, Florida. Love that place too. Oregon, Las Vegas, Charleston, South Carolina. Holla SC. Ohio, I think that's Illinois. Okay, I guess I should start reading these because there's so many of them, but I'm seeing all kinds of Australia, yes. All kinds of fun places. Welcome, welcome. What a fun connection from all over the world. Isn't it great? Okay, let's keep going and talk about some tips. I'm going to throw some tips out there and then we'll get started with the actual decorating together. So for those who weren't here in the first 2 seconds when I had 2 viewers, some supplies you'll want to have are, I have a bunch of hexagon cookies. It does not matter what shape you have really, because Wet n Wet can do it on any shape. I'm probably going to use 3 or 4 cookies during this session. I also have a bunch of colors. If you have like 3 or 4 colors that look good together, you'll be pretty good. Let me show you the colors that I have just so you can see. If I can find the button for flipping my screen. Nope, can't find it. There it is. So these are all the colors that I have laid out. Whites, different shades of green, which we want for the mountains, some blues, some reds and blacks. And since you guys were really excited about the black and red rose heart, that is really pretty. You don't have to do those colors, but that's what I chose. Okay, so here's some tips. When you start, do not overflood your cookie at the beginning. Do a very light flood. I'll show you how I do it because otherwise you will have overflow and sometimes you'll have it anyway. And it does take more time to do it that way. You do want to work quickly since the icing will dry. There's a tip in case your icing does start to dry. Maybe you did it and then you realize, oh no, I left this flour off that I put on every other cookie. If you add more icing to it, it will soften up that area and make it workable again. So if it starts to crust over a little bit, you can make it stop crusting by adding a little more icing. Much better than using a scribe. A scribe, once it's dry, just makes it all crackle up and look messy. Adding piping. You can do piping in the Wet n Wet. It adds some interesting texture, but it doesn't Wet n Wet well. Welcome to some people who are saying they're showing up late. Listen, you're going to have fun. It doesn't matter if you're late. And so I don't usually add piping into my Wet n Wet, but you could. And maybe you guys will find some fun ways to do that you can share somewhere. If you do some of these tricks, tag me on Instagram. I am at Amy's Cookie Shop on Instagram. So tag me if you try some of this out. I would love to see what you do. So the things that work best for this is if you have anything with swirls or points or feathery edges. These are all great. And another tip is to, when you're trying to replicate something organic, like something in nature, consult photos and actual objects to see what they look like, which is what I do almost every time. And I do want to do a request that somebody do a live on flower arrangements, because this is where I have a weakness. I know how to make the flowers themselves on Wet n Wet, but I don't always feel confident in arranging the flowers so they look cute. So if anyone ever wants to do, I don't know if that's enough on topic, but if anyone wants to do a visual arrangement of flowers live, I would love to watch that. Okay, let's get out some supplies. And I forgot to mention you'll also want a scribe, or 2 or 3. So I'm getting out my scribe. And I'm going to switch my camera now to point down. Again, welcome everybody. If you're just showing up, I am curious how much experience you have and where you're from. But, yep, just checking to see if there's anything else. But I think I'm caught up on the comments. So let's reverse the camera to point down at my working area. And this is what I usually work on, is my edgeless cookie trays. And I'm going to break out my hexagon. So I just love hexagons and I use them for a lot of basic things, and I'm going to be using this hexagon that I baked probably months ago. Oh, this is going to be sideways for you guys. Ooh. Let's see. Maybe we'll just do it. This is what I mean about something technically not working. I knew there would be something that I wouldn't think of. We're going to see if we can get it down here and still let me do the work. All right, so this first cookie that we're going to do is just going to be a primer cookie. you guys have heard about primers back in the 1700s, they would have a, you know, a book of all the basic letters and some keywords. Well, this is going to be a collection of basic key skills. So let's just choose a color to lay as our background. I'm going to do white because white is a great little background color. I've got my icing right here. I snipped it off barely, and I have pinched it against the crease so that it's kind of a square opening. And I forgot I actually need to do a border on this. So let's just lay down our border. And this part is really helpful with keeping the icing from overflowing, especially if you let it dry a tiny bit. So we're going to lay that down. And when I finish, I'm going to look at the comments again. And if you have anything that you're really hoping to see in here, I already know people are dying to see the mountains and the black and red rose flower arrangement. So, oh, and someone said they've been selling cookies for under 2 years. I've been selling cookies for about 3 years, and I'm a virtual teacher in 3rd grade, and so this is it is my side hustle. I think some people say, no, say it's your business. Anyway, I do it on the side. I use it for extra income and for entertainment and because it's relaxing and also stressful. Can anyone relate to that? Relaxing and stressful. All right, I'm looking at the comments again. I am sure that I have derailed my conversation. That happens to me in the classroom as well, that I start on a line of thought and get off of it. So if there's something that you really want me to finish, comment. But tell me if there's something you're really hoping to learn about or a question you have at any point in the chat, and I'll keep going back and checking them from time to time. All right, now we're going to do our flood, and this is where we want to do a very light flood so that it's very thin. And that way there's less stuff to overflow. I'm going to do a nice thick edge just because that's satisfying to me. It's honestly probably a bad idea because it makes it more likely to overflow, but this is my process. This is interesting doing this with the camera in my face. I'm not as steady as usual, but you guys get the hang of it. You get the idea. So we'll do this. Okay. Oh, there's a bunch of interesting comments coming up. Oh, this is the problem. Guys, don't do this. What I just did was I was in the middle of icing and I stopped to look at comments. If you do that, your cookie might be dead because if it dries, you're in trouble. All right, so here's what I do though. Okay, so I've got my stuff in there, and now I'm going to. Oh goodness, my bag just busted. Of course it did. I'm going to cut my hole a little bit bigger. For flooding, it really needs to be a little larger. And try to hold that little hole I just busted in the side from leaking. All right, so I am going to, instead of flooding the whole thing solid, I'm going to do a swirl kind of like this and leave some space. The risk of this, there it goes. So you guys see it dripping? The risk of this is, this is fantastic. Look at that, you guys. Of course it did. Hey, Bobby. Can you get me some more icing bags from my my first drawer? Yes. I'm not sure if Bobby even knows where I keep them. He's gonna go look for me. It's the second drawer. It's kind of in the left side of the drawer, down near the sieves and stuff. Icing bags, they're flat triangles. Yay, husbands. So thankful for him. So I'm intentionally leaving a lot of spaces in between my swirl. All right, that's fine. Well, it's the second one on the end of the peninsula. Second door down. Yeah. Don't worry about it, Bobby. I have other stuff I can use. It'll be fine. He found them. Now we're going to get our... Oh, yay. Now we're going to get our scribe in here and whisk it. You're my hero. Thank you. That's perfect. I'm gonna scribe in here and whisk this. So this is super thin, which you normally would not want because you'd want it to be nice and dense and solid, but we're gonna be adding plenty more icing to this. And yes, I am taking too long doing this because I am multitasking. There it is. All right, let's just do a few quick things. Probably some of these are ones you guys have already done. All right, let's do, I'm gonna grab a pretty blue for fun. Yeah, Scotch tape would be great if I had any right here. Someone's suggesting that. Oh, I missed a spot. Okay, you guys know about dots. You know about hearts. You just start above it and draw down. I don't even like my hearts really. I'm sure you guys do better with hearts than I do. You can also do a leaf this way, like I do a bunch of autumn leaves on something. And instead of being above it, just go inside it. And there's a leaf. And if you want to, you can do this side, but it takes too long, you know? Keep it quick, as much as you can. So there's a leaf. We can do some chevron. We're gonna put, let's do a 3 stripes chevron. So if you're following along, you're just creating your own cookie primer right now. Cookie primer, excuse me. I always like to do the edges to make sure that because they always look blobby. And then we'll just do several times down. I think I'll do, so I got 4 downs. And so that's if you want to do like wings or scallops. And then we go up to make a chevron. And this is great for like sweaters if you're wanting to show, or mittens if you're showing knits. Really fun. It's even more fun if you add in other stripes. I am going to check the comments in a minute. I see comments rolling in, but I am going to keep going here so that it doesn't dry too quickly. You can also do a golf ball texture or a crescent moon by putting a circle. You guys see how this could totally leak, right? Like, this could totally drip over the side. We're in danger, but it's going to be okay. And add another circle overlapping one side of it. So now it is crescent. So you can do that as a moon, like if you do white on blue or something, or that can be a divot in a golf ball. So if you do a pattern of those all over white cookie with gray as the crescent, you can make a bunch of golf ball dents. What else did I want to demonstrate? And then there's just a lot of different flower designs that you can do or make up. And we're going to try them out. So you can do this kind of flower where you do a circle and then you drag in to make each petal. And it's fun. I love that extra little flare on the edge because it just makes it look like the flower has little things sticking off of it in really cute ways. This is why the next one I'm going to show you is when you often get over flooding. You do a circle, and then, oh, this is my piping one. Another circle inside it, and then, which by the way, I have not experimented with this. I wonder if you could do a diamond ring like that. Let's try it. Let's put a diamond ring up here, and then let's see if it looks like a diamond ring. I'm not sure if it will. What do you guys think? It's all about experimentation. And in the application for this live, it said I don't know, it looks a little bit like one. To me, a little too much work. Like I probably wouldn't do this just because it takes too long to do that, but slightly diamond ring-ish. In the live application, I said, think outside the box, because that really is what we have to do, is we have to think of creative ways to show things. Yes, hibiscus, that's what I was about to show. So let me try again here. Here's a hibiscus, if I do all the steps correctly. We do a layer of blue, then we pile some white on it, and then you can do a center again of blue if you want. If you look at this from the side, it's really getting very thick. Oh, target, look at that. Okay, here's a hibiscus. Hibiscus have 6 leaves, no, 5. It's 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I did too many things. Anyway, there's a kind of hibiscus. And then we'll show roses on a different one. This one is a little, well, we could do a blue rose. So I researched with Sweet Am's what she does for her roses, and I didn't find that worked for me. It just never was reliable, her method, which is kind of to do like a scribble, and then you come in and do like this with it. And for her, they always turn out looking really cute and flowery and swirly, but for me, they look like a blob, like this one does. So instead, I've gotten in the habit of making a plus sign or an asterisk, depending on how many petals I want, and then come in and swirl. And especially if you have another color, which we'll do later, it can look a lot like a rose. Okay, I'm checking my list to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I think we're going to set this aside. We're also going to set this white aside. I think it's not even going to be worth trying to fix that. I'm going to put it in my little bucket that I'm so glad I brought. And I'm going to let that sit, and I'm going to check my comments to see what I've missed in the last couple of minutes. Do you guys have any questions about what we've done so far? I experienced cake decorator, but only knobs at cookies. Listen, I just made my son's birthday cake, and I felt like a doofus because I feel very comfortable with cookies, but that cake was very simple and very hard for me. Retired from makeup. That seems to be a thing some people do. I know that Courtney from Bakery Tico was was she hair? I forget now. She used to do makeup or hair. I forget which one, and then she became a cookier, and then a t-shirt person. Always relaxing and stressful at the same time. Yes, extra income. It really helps. Clouds or frothy bubbles on beer. Yeah, I forgot to say that. I had not thought of clouds. That's a great idea, but these circles can be turned into bubbles as well on beer or other things, and also clouds. Want to learn roses? I'll show you better roses soon. Full-time high school math teacher. Wow. And college professor. Yes. Look at that. Yeah, I enjoy cookies because they're really, each one is small. Can you slide it into an empty bag? Alicia, if you can clarify your question, I'm not sure what you mean. Can you slide it into an empty bag? Oh, my bag of icing. I could, but I'm not going to bother because I have lots of icing to choose from. Yep, Scotch tape. Bag breaking, we all understand. I knew y'all would get it. Icing bags versus Ziploc bags. I started with Ziploc bags. They stretch, and they're not a good angle. So you want to get icing bags from a number of different cookie cutter people. Blue is still flood consistency. That is correct. I only have one piping consistency icing, and that is this white one right here. And it is just for doing borders and stuff. I'm doing all flood today, and everything is 6 to 15 second flood. My pink tool is a Scribe, and I got it, I think I got it from Sugar Dot. Dottie sells Scribe similar to this anyway. I can't remember. Let's see if it says it on there. Oh, this is from Thingamagenie. Anyway, I got a whole bunch of them for classes, and I actually love them more than the metal Scribes I have. Can I redo the crescent? Yeah, I can do that. Let me do it real quick while it's still a little damp. Oh, look, the color bleed is happening, and I'm not worried about it. It's just part of the effect. Here's the crescent again for whoever's listening, and this is a great example of how the icing is starting to crust the tiniest bit. You probably can't tell, but I can, and when we add this, it'll be okay. So we're going to do a dot. Here's the crescent for whoever was asking about that. I guess I am breaking out my other one. And come to think of it, I am going to need this white again, so I'm going to need to pause and bag it. But when I do the crescent, I put another dot of about the same size, but slightly off kilter. And there it is. Okay. And let me take this moment to rebag this like somebody suggested. Great thought. I apologize for keeping you waiting, but I know you guys get it. Oh, and someone already talked about the Scribe tool. Yeah, no boo stick or boo-boo stick. The outline and the flood consistency is the same. No, the outline is like a little bit thicker. Not too much. Oh, we've got lots of people helping out about the boo-boo stick. Thank you for helping out. There's a ton of people helping. There's hibiscus. Oh, Jennifer, I'm sorry your icing was too thick. Yeah, it is an art, let me tell you. You never know. I think I'm using 6 second flood right now. Is it overflowing yet? It is not. It's just got the mess where 1 second. I apologize for the noise. Oh, I should be showing this. I'm sticking my messed up bag inside another bag for people who are brand new. And this will stop that hole. And let me snip the opening again. Okay, I'm sure that was very loud. I just stuck my messed up icing bag inside a brand new icing bag without having to squeeze anything out or anything. 37 new comments. Oh, popped bag. Why are my questions not showing up? Elise, try again. I see that question, so I'm not sure what the other ones are. I'm a full-time physical therapist and clinic director. Cool. Retired architect. Yep. Why is it bleeding anyway to prevent this? I think it's partly because it's on white, but also no. I don't think you can guarantee it won't happen. I feel like I just accept it as part of it. All right, I'm actually caught up, I think, on the comments. If I did not answer your comment, I must have skipped past it, and I want you to ask it again. All right, let's get this buddy out of the way. I'm going to lift him very carefully and put him on my spot over here that I have for him. And let's get a new cookie out. Are you guys ready for the mountain cookie? I feel like I want to go ahead and get this in there for anyone who's like dying to see this, and then we'll have some of the other stuff after that. And I'm going to use this scribe tool to just lift up some of this extra icing and get rid of it. You can also do this to the cookie itself if you completely mess it up. Just remember that time is money, though. Like, my goal is to not do that if possible, because this is like, you know, I'm getting paid for how much time I spend on it. All right, I've got my next hexagon ready. Apologize for the rocking. Hang on a second. And I have made this a number of times, and I always do it slightly different, and hopefully I can remember the best strategy for making the mountain cookie. A while back, a friend who has become a very good friend since then asked me, she was a stranger at the time, asked me to do a mountain cookie for her. And let's go ahead and put our border on here, by the way. She said, I am getting married in the mountains of North Carolina, in the Appalachians, and I want mountain cookies. And I said, okay. And I knew that I wanted to do them wet on wet because I thought this would be perfect for wet on wet. But there was nobody doing it that way online that I could find. There might be people doing it. I just didn't find any examples. And I was like, oh, I got to figure this out. My mom came over, and she came over for Christmas. This is a couple of Christmases ago. And I was like, Mom, let's figure this out together. So she is not a cookier, but she has an eye for art, I guess. And she helped me out with it, and she helped me design it. So it really was a joint effort. And I'd say the main inspiration came from her shape of trees. And this really does matter, the shape of the mountains and the trees. So we're going to work our way from the sky down to the closest trees. And so we're going to have some white or lightest color sky up here. Then we'll have some very distant mountains of a next lightest color. Then some middle mountains that actually have trees on them. And then our closest darkest mountain will be the closest. So if you're trying to decide, here's what I'm going to be doing. This will be my furthest away color. Then these are my most distant mountains. This is closer mountains. Let me see, yeah. And these are the closest mountains. It's all pretty similar, but that way, I might switch out this middle one. I have another color green as well that is somewhere in the range there. These are actually left over from Christmas when I was doing a bunch of green trees. And I just mixed up the icing and made it better. So I'm going to be using these 4 colors. If you only have 3, then just do 3 and it'll still be fine. I hope I'm not going too slow for you guys. And let's go ahead and start getting our white on there. Here's the cookie. Remember, we're going to want to move fairly quickly because it's going to dry if we don't. So when we draw the edge of each step, it's going to be the top of the next step. So we're going to make some fun little bumps for the mountains. I want to have a small mountain, a big mountain, and kind of a small mountain again. And I'm going to fill all of this in white. And I'm not checking the comments. I apologize. So hopefully someone can speak up. Well, I'm mainly scared that it will suddenly stop working and everyone will be hollering at me that it's not working and I will be oblivious. That's the main thing I'm worried about. But we don't want to pause too much because you know it will dry. All right, so there's our first mountains. These mountains are not going to have any visible trees on them. Now we need to draw the base for our next mountains, and I just like to do 2 bumps. 2 nice gentle bumps. All right, and now I'm going to fill in all this background, the palest green I have. I don't know that you really have to do graduated colors, but I feel like that makes the most sense for actual mountains, but mountains are all kinds of colors. It's interesting. So I'm getting this all colored in. And like I said, we don't want to dilly-dally because this is all going to start drying. We're about to add some more on top of this. Although, for this kind, we're not doing as much overlapping colors, and so we have a little more freedom. I'm realizing that it's doing a lot of zooming in on my dry hands. I apologize for that. Okay, let's do our last mountains. And I once again did 2 mountains. Again, this is my mom's inspiration to have 2 ones, and these ones are going to be a lot sharper. It's always tempting to think that the color you're doing this line in is the color of the mountains you're drawing, but it's actually the background mountains. Mountains right behind it. And we're all about ready to add your first trees. Here it goes. I am sure people have questions about what I'm doing. I hope I can pause for 1 second and look to make sure everyone's doing okay. Oh, you know what? I bet that the main thing is I'm blocking your view. Let's see if I can do a little better about that. Before we do our last mountains down here, we need to add a few little trees. I made all of these the same size. I'm just going to do sort of vaguely triangular shapes. It doesn't matter. They're going to change. Put a couple by themselves, a couple together. Let's do another one over here. You have some flexibility. Whip out that scribe as fast as you can. And we're going to do this feathering effect on here. And at the top, pull up and make a point. So you're just going to kind of pull out in every direction and feather these little triangles. It's going to make them kind of fat, squat trees, but there we go. All right, feather, feather, feather. Get those colors just kind of gentle. If you didn't make it big enough, add a little more icing to it and then keep feathering. Just make sure the edges are not sharp because pine trees don't have sharp edges. Well, they do up close, but not in the distance like this. Okay, and then hurry, don't delay. Let's go ahead and do our last color. Here it goes. I'm going to do the one that's right next to the most recent icing so that they don't start to crust over and not mix. So here's my 2 sharp mountains. Is it letting you see it? Yes, it is. And I'm going to color all this in. Oh, I'm loving this green. I forgot about this green. Oh, it is gorgeous. I'm actually super excited about this cookie. Oh, you guys ever get in the middle of a cookie and just get excited about it? All right, so this is one thing that I found really helped is to have trees of different sizes on this level. So we're going to do a nice big tree up front. Make it really big and tall. Make a smaller one. Look like it's like kind of in the distance on the hill. Let's do a little one over here too. And then maybe another bigger one over here. And let's feather, feather, feather. Oh good, someone just said I'm doing great. I assume they're talking about me since they can't see anyone else. So hopefully that means everyone can see what's going on. There is a glare on that cookie though. That glare though. So I'm just... The great thing about this is if the colors mix, it's great. It doesn't matter. You want them to mix. You want them to be like scribbly. It's like impressionistic maybe. I'm not trained in art. I don't know. Oh, let's make that point here. This is a very tall skinny tree, I guess. And my last tree I'm going to do here. And I'm going to eyeball it and see if maybe, do I want one more tree? This one is kind of acting weird over here. So I'm going to add another tree on the right here. Because I think I should have put more ground down here. Let's add one more tree right here. Feather, 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 feather. Okay. Let me look at it. Yeah, I think I'm done. I am going to look at the comments while I let you guys finish. Let's see. If you put white on the blue before you mix in the color. Oh, I have heard this, that if you mix white into your blue, it will prevent color bleed. And actually one reason that's possible is I don't think I put white into that blue, so you could be right. Someone said, can you explain? I'm not sure what you want. That's Elise. Can you explain? What did you want explained? Ooh, mechanical engineer coming from the cake world. Wow, what a combination. I love it. Oh, interesting. Kathy says that she finds it bleeds more if the consistencies are not the same, or if she pierces the flooded layer with the tip while adding the second color. If you lay it next to it rather than on top. Yep. So this is mostly laid next to each other. This one is probably not going to bleed much because they are next to each other, not layered. The other cookie I did with all the blue and white is the blue was getting laid on top of the white and then it was sliding out underneath. All right, let's see. Can you freeze colored icing in bags? And I think people are answering this. I've never done that, so I need to be brave and try it sometime. Any tricks for de-thawing? You guys are doing great answering those. Can't wait to do this tomorrow. Yay. Okay, before we go on to another cookie, are there any questions about this? I guess you guys would be putting it in the comments if there were. So, y'all, sometimes you just get really excited about a cookie, and I'm really excited about this beautiful little mountain scene. I'll have to tell my friend that I did this as a tutorial for you guys. But yeah, you can do different color combos, and then I actually ended up writing over it, put her name and the date, which actually I thought made them worse. They're so pretty on their own, but she really wanted that, so that's fine. And the fun thing about this is you can put it on any shape. Thank you for the compliments, you guys. I am so curious to see how that turns out for you. Please, 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 if you try this, can you tag me on Instagram? I would love to see it. Love to see how it turns out. Okay, let me get another cookie. Still a hexagon. I am so tempted to take a big bite right now. Also, my husband has it easy right now. My son is sleeping, and I thought he would wake up like before this live even started, and he didn't, and he's still sleeping. So I'm so thankful that neither of us have to worry about it right now. But he'll probably wake up soon, and we will hear him. Okay, let's try. We're going to try doing some flowers. Now, at your request, we're doing red roses on black. You can do so many different color combinations. Let's go ahead and put our edges down while I'm talking. You can do so many different color combinations. I'm going to try the red and black because you guys loved it so much when I posted about it on Facebook. But I honestly don't know how it will turn out. You never know with wet on wet how it will turn out. And I made that black cookie like 2 years ago, and I only made one. It wasn't for anybody. I just was loving the color combination and I made it. And so this is not going to turn out the same, and I'm okay with it. I'm bracing myself right now because I'm about to lay down my black flood, and once we start, we have to just get it done. So I'm like getting all my colors over here. Gonna get rid of my greens. These are not the greens I'm gonna use. This green probably is. I'll keep this green. We get these reds and these greens out of here. So I'm just like bracing myself to be in full speed. We're gonna want black. I've got two different reds. I don't know if they're gonna look good together or not. We're gonna try it. We got red, well, kind of brick red. And then we got more of a pink red. This is how they look next to each other. They look the same in the camera to me, but they're not quite the same. A little bit of difference can make a lot of difference. We've got green. And actually, I'm going to use piping white. This is one of the only times that I use piping white is for tiny dots. We'll use that for baby's breath. Trying to think if there's any other colors we need in there. I don't think so. We're just gonna try it. And Jennifer's asking if I have Facebook. I do. I'm at Amy's Cookie Shop on Facebook as well. I just don't find that people generally tag me, and other cookiers don't tend to tag me on there. Okay, you guys ready? Here we go. I probably need to cut my hole a little bigger in this, and I'm going to do the same thing where I leave a lot of space between my stripes and then scribe them together. So here we go. How do you preserve the leftover icing for future use? Can I be honest? In my experience, well, because I use meringue powder, y'all tell me if I'm totally wrong. Just be honest with me. I don't think it really goes bad. So I stick it in the fridge because it makes it separate less, but if it does separate, I just pull it out again, stir it up really good, and put it back to work. And every so often I go through and throw everything away just because I feel like it's more sanitary that way. But y'all go ahead and break my hearts and tell me if I'm doing that wrong and if I need to actually be pitching it. But it's got so much sugar in it, it's very well preserved. Meringue powder, yes, that is... it's an egg-based product, but it's been pasteurized, I believe. Look at that black. It's going on pretty nicely. Pretty happy with that. All right, we're going to do some swirling now. Instead of coloring it solid, get a little closer there, but this is going to prevent it from over-flooding, I hope. Leave some nice space in between. Just try to get it mostly colored in. Oh, I can hear my son waking up. Don't be alarmed. He sounds happy though. Any other baby mamas out there taking care of babies and doing cookies at the same time? I made the mistake of looking at the comments. Keep going, Amy. Don't let the comments distract you. You've got to get this cookie done before it dries. Yeah, if you are... I really am curious if there are any other... my baby's turning 1 tomorrow, so that's how old he is. I'm curious if there's anybody else who's got little tiny ones that they're taking care of at the same time. Sometimes he wakes up at like 1 a.m. and wants to play, at which time I sometimes get some cookies done. Yeah, Kelly. Okay, it's action time. Here's how I'm gonna do some roses. This is my favorite method. Let's see. I don't know. Let's put a rose here. I'm gonna draw a circle with this lighter color, and it's kind of fun sometimes to leave a little bit of other colors in there. Once again, I apologize that the little stand is rocking. I'm gonna put a plus, and you know what? We'll do an asterisk. And now I come in here quick and swirl it. So I've got a rose now. And just for fun, I'm going to switch the color up. And we'll put one way over here. This is what I mean about flower arrangement, though. I don't have a good sense of how close to put things or whatever. But we're just going to have fun with it. I'm going to do my little asterisks, 3 little lines, I should say. Swirl it. So you guys see how easy it is to run out of time. Oh, it's interesting having the black show up there. And let's get some leaves. Now, one thing I like to do with roses is put a couple leaves on the outside. 1, 2, 3. Let's do a couple over here. 1, 2, 3. It's fun to do 2 or 3 leaves, and you just do center of the dot, drag out, center of the dot, drag out, center, drag out. I don't care if there's a little bit of color in the center. For one thing, I don't have time to worry about it, and also it looks hand drawn. Ooh, odd numbers. Great point. Now, I think it would be fun to add in let's do a rosebud over here. So we're gonna put a nice red dot. I'm gonna drag it out so it has a point. Oh, I'm gonna get my scribe clean. There it is. And then I'm going to put some green on it and use my scribe to make a heart shape essentially. Drag through it into the point. And there's my little rosebud. Oh, that's so cute. I love that little rosebud. See, I'm right now frustrated because I don't think the placement of it is good, but I think the rosebud itself is adorable. And I'm going to make some leaves. Now, I happen to know that roses, well, someone correct me. I'm pretty sure they always have 5 leaves per little set. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this is super fun. You guys ready? We're going to put our scribe in the top one, drag down between them, and you have 5 leaves right there. Isn't that satisfying? We'll have to change that because they actually need to be pointy. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how to mute myself for a second. I'm going to holler. But I don't know how to do it. Hey, Bobby. Yes. Can you grab Highlands? He's awake. And we can hear him. All right, let's see. I don't know. Let's get some more leaves in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, a little frustrated with my placement. I don't think it's good placement at all, but it's so fun to see how these things affect each other. That's the thing that you don't know about flower arrangements is that when you about flooding wet on wet is that when you do it, you don't know how swirling things will affect other things. There we go. Anyway, I'm just having fun making leaves here. This is supposed to be saved at the end, yes. Yeah. I'm seeing some comments of people talking about their babies and stuff. Okay, y'all, let's see. Let's put another rosebud just for fun down here. There we go. Gonna draw my point out. Put my little shape and then while we're at it, I can show you how to do, and by the way, changing trains of thought again, you don't have to draw any stems on here because the eye assumes the stems. You just don't have to have the stems on there. Now you can always go over this kind of thing with a marker and try to highlight it, and some colors look fantastic when you add the black highlights with marker. This I wouldn't because this is already black and you don't need the lines. The mind draws them in. So, all right, this is my shout out. Somebody please host a flower arranging class. Thank you very much. Okay, just because we already have this one ready. My son is making my husband laugh really hard. I'm going to show you a fun way to make wheat. Even though you wouldn't have wheat in a flower arrangement probably. I don't know. You flower arrangers tell me. Dot. We're just doing a whole bunch of parallel dots. I love doing this. I don't know what they're doing out there, but it must be hilarious. And now this is my favorite part. It's wheat. The closer you put the dots together, the more your drag affects them, and the further apart they are, the less it does. Let's see. Let's do a couple more shapes. This is another kind of flower you can do. I think I've already showed this one actually. Just drawing in. Well, that one was way too small to really look like a flower. Actually, it looks pretty nifty though. I gotta do some more wheat. Let's see if we can get it a little bit better proportioned. I'm going to close up the live pretty soon here just because it's getting to be 8:23. Is there anything you guys are really hoping to see? This is a lot of my main tips and tricks. Is there anything you guys are really hoping to see before I go? Oh goodness, I'm looking again and my hand is in the way. But, ruined the special moment. Here we go. Let me try again and try not to get in the way. Boom, 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 boom. And this time I'm going to... Can you guys tell I love doing those? All right. Even though the arrangement isn't great, I'm just loving the color combination here. And I do another big rose. All right, let's throw another rose on here. When I look at the color combination, it's kind of fun to have two different ones, by the way, as you arrange cookies. It just somehow looks appealing to have two different shades to me. All right, so you guys are voting on try the rose with the C shape. Okay, we're going to go for it because that's what we are trying to do is think outside the box. This is one that has not worked well for me in the past. So let's see how it goes. Y'all tell me what I'm doing wrong here. Maybe it'll work. What am I doing wrong? It does not look like a rose to me. Correct me here, folks. You know, this is what I mean when you have to find something that works for you. I didn't say that, but it's still true. You have to find something that works for you. Here's another big rose, the style that I like to do. Make a big circle. And put a plus in it. Overworked. Oh, I did it too many times? Oh, okay. Do one swirl in the top too. Someone else needs to host a live about this. I don't get it. Let me try one more time. So just go back and forth a couple times. This still didn't work for me. See with the icing made a circle with a scribe, okay? Ooh, maybe that's closer. Thanks for the tips, you guys. Circle at the top of the flower with a tighter center inside, then drag one direction. Okay. It sounds like, I think there are other great tutorials to do the method you guys are talking about. Oh, the baby's breath. I would look up, if you're having trouble understanding how to do the C method like I am, look up Sweet Am. She has a great tutorial on it. I forget who else. There's some tutorials out there about it. And they can give you tips on that method. This is my method. All right, baby's breath. Let's pop some baby's breath up in amongst the... This is where I use the piping icing because it spreads a lot less. Oh, he's coming to see me. I'm slightly distracted now. All right, here we go. This is how I do baby's breath. I just find a spot where I think some baby's breath would be pretty and pop in some little dots. That's how I do my baby's breath. All right. Are there any more questions about this? Any of these methods? Let me just check my list to make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting about. I do have other things I've tried. For example, I made a wave cookie I was really proud of. I don't know how often you would want to make a wave cookie. And I didn't try it here, but it was kind of like that famous wave, that one guy, the Japanese painting. I should stop talking because I don't remember who did it or what it was. But that turned out really fun. I just feathered the frothy waves and made a big curve shape, and it looked really cool. Cool, so some people learned some fun things they might try. I would encourage you guys, if you have an image you need to create, think about whether it could be made by squirting it into the icing and dragging it around with a scribe. So, great fun to use this, and there's a lot of different things you can replicate with it. Yes, the Great Wave. Thank you, Elise. It's a beautiful piece, and I didn't replicate it, but I was inspired by it. I hope that this helps you guys. I hope you had fun. Let me turn my camera around for a second. Remember, I'm at Amy's Cookie Shop on Instagram and Facebook, so if you do these designs, especially the mountain one, any of the other ones, tag me so I can see it. I love seeing people's work. And I loved working with you guys today. If you are watching this later, please type replay in the comments so that I realize that it's from later and I can go back and try to answer them if I see it. So I hope you guys have a great night. I'm not seeing any more questions pop up, just lots of thanks. I appreciate you guys. I love sugar cookie marketing. Isn't it great? So thankful for this group. You guys have a great night. Goodbye.